by the noise, we're in waterfall country. And specifically, we're in I apologise to all the Welsh people, Taliban Forest. I think that's how you say it. And I've literally walked 150 yards from the car park and I've come across my first waterfall, which is stunningly beautiful. But for love nor money, I can't find a composition that I'm happy with. I think it's possibly because it's not flowing as quickly or as heavily as I would like it. Don't get me wrong, it's still wonderful. And actually standing here, I've just seen a shot. So I've been up and down, round and about, and I'm going to be a little bit careful because it is a touch slippy. I'll whiz you round and you can see what I'm seeing. So what I'd hoped was this little bit of rock here might make a decent foreground, because if you look, you've got little lines in the rock formation, but it doesn't really work. I seem to have gone out of focus, but hey ho. Some beautiful green rocks there, but that would mean walking across that little lot, which I really don't fancy doing, because it's not deep, but I think those rocks are going to be quite heavy. Heavy? Probably are heavy. Slippery was the word I was actually looking for. So I've come down to this little bit, and I don't normally do side-on waterfalls, I don't think, but I quite like that in a vertical composition. Yeah, I quite like that. I've slowed it down to a second shutter speed at f16, and the only filter I've got on is the K&F polarizer. Where are we? There we go. Because I decided that was a lot less hassle than my leaf polarizer, even with the new filter holder. It was just a quick on and off, and if I drop it, I'm not going to cry. Now that leads down quite nicely into a little stream, and you have another little fall there, and then there's an oofing massive one the other side of that. Now this is the strenuous path, so I may well be out of breath the next time I speak to you, but you know what, I don't care. I've got all day, faff around, shooting waterfalls. I had hoped we would have some autumn colour, but I think, as a lot of people are saying, autumn seems to be a little bit late this year. So I'm going to do the shot that I think I've seen, which is, I know I'm spinning you around, just a close-up of this bit of the fall down to this ledge. Not sure if that's going to work. This one I'm shooting on the 10-20, that's going to need the 17-55, if not the 70-200. As usual, I've got everything with me, so my kit bag weighs a ton. But you never know when you might need a particular lens. Oh dear. The sign at the top of this path said an hour and a half round trip. Well, I've been here 45 minutes and I've done about 500 yards. It's going to be a nightmare. Every 30 feet there's a waterfall. Big ones, a massive one here. And I was on that side, and then I saw this little one, so I've come over to this side, and I think this side is the best side to get this big one on, so I've got to go down there. Then I've got to come back up and go down that. It says strenuous. I think it actually means sketchy as hell, because that path's okay to about there, and then it just kind of disappears, and you've got to get up behind that rock. I found this little one, and this inky dinky one down here. And I kind of quite like that composition, but just cutting out this bright bit here. But then I thought, oh, stuff it. Let's get into the middle of the river. There's actually a rock bed there. And I'm shooting landscape. And I've done one with the polarizer turned to maximum effect and one without. The same shutter speed, 1 1/3 seconds. So you can see the difference that the polarizer is making. I think I prefer it with the polarizer on. It darkens down the background, particularly that quite bright rock there. But at 1 1/3 seconds, I'm getting some nice streakiness in the water. And I'll say I'm having to be very careful because although the rocks don't look slippery, they actually are. If you look back up here, that corner around there was where I was. And we've got one waterfall there, one waterfall there, and then we've got another couple of little waterfalls here. How many of them? I was expecting like 4. That is just fantastic. It looked nice where I was stood at the top as I walked down. And I might still go back and take a shot from up there. But when you come down lower, I'm just going to move back because it's very noisy up there. Let's see if I can turn around now. When you come down here, it's very, very busy. There's water all over the place. You've got water coming in here, you've got it down there, you've got this separate little fall here. So for me, the way to work this is to separate it into sections. Section it, in other words. The section that I went for is this bit. So I've got water coming in the top left-hand side of the frame, then it curves around slightly, disappears behind those rocks. There's a rock lodged there, then it comes out into this pool. The only thing that spoils it is this rock has got a light patch on that has got no real moss on it, and it was dry. May not be dry anymore. It's lovely water. I'd also got a little bit of this in and a little bit of this in because it's really hard to just isolate that one section. But that works quite nicely. And I took it with these ferns in the top. And I'm going to do a photo stack because I was using a fairly slow shutter speed here. I think it was about 2 seconds. And that was getting blurred because it's a bit breezy up there. So I fiddled and faffed with the f-stop and the shutter speed because I wanted to keep the lighting the same because that's obviously quite dark. But I managed to get a shot with the majority of those ferns sharp. Didn't want all of them sharp because that wouldn't be a true representation, but I didn't want them all completely blurred. So yes, I'm quite pleased with that. I'm torn between staying here and wandering on. Oh. So yeah, if you come across a busy scene like this, obviously you can take the wide shot, nothing wrong with that, but try and isolate sections to give you a more intimate view. And that, I could have zoomed right in on this section here and just had this little bit of water coming down under the rock and pooling at the bottom, and that would show you it's a waterfall. By including the fern at the top and this little bit of waterfall, I think that gives a bit more of a story as to what the area is like. But it really is too busy, I think, for me to take a shot of everything. I might try. I can always delete it if I don't like it. Oh. Janice from Friends would say. Oh my God. The thing that attracted me was this tree. That's what first caught my eye. And I could hear the water. And as I got closer, I just caught a glimpse. And then I saw this lot. Now I have no idea if that's going to make an image. I have a thought in my head as to how I can make this work. There's a oofing great drop down there. There's not a lot of room to manoeuvre either. Let me see if I can just tilt you down a second. Yeah, there you go. That's quite a way down there. I think that's where I'm going. And the path is hard. In fact, there's a bob stood down there. I don't know if you'll see him. Let's see if I can point him out. Oh, he's somewhere around there, I think. Just to give you a bit of perspective, I think that's him there. What? Yes, it's slippy as hell, very narrow. In places there isn't a path. There's things to walk over. That's steep. I think when I get to the bottom, I'll actually have less trouble walking back up the road than I will walking back up there. I do the jetpack, I think. Maybe I ought to add that to my list of things I need to buy. Right, I'm going to get set up and see what I can make of this. Maybe when I get it in camera, it won't be as nice as it looks to my eye, because that does happen. Well, that took some doing. 30 minutes to find a composition I was happy with, and even now I'm still not 100% on it. I swapped out to the 10-20 lens, and I'm shooting portrait orientation. And I think I'm going to have to do a focus stack, simply to make sure that everything is in focus. I'm at f14, and essentially I have that part of the fall coming in slap bang on the first third, the left hand side, and then it sort of wiggles down, and then I've got this bit here coming in at the right hand side at the bottom, and then swirling out. Now, surprisingly for me, I'm actually shooting at 1/15 of a second, so I'm getting some motion. It's not completely smooth. Get me? Woo! Miracles do happen. Shut that door. And I think that works. It's picking up the white, it's picking up the motion down here, and it's bringing out the greens. There will be a little bit of dodging and burning to do on this banking, just to darken it down a smidge. So I'm gonna, now I've got the image composition that I want, I'm going to do a focus stack, probably 3 sets of focus points, one close up to the camera, one about here, and then one up here, just to make sure. And what I do, and I'm going to do it now, before I start on the focus stack, I wake the camera up to start with. Oh, that's not quite level, that's better. I will take a shot with my hand in front of the lens. So my next 3 shots of my focus stack, then I'll put my hand in front of the lens again, so I know when I'm back in Photoshop which images I need to stack. And I'm tempted to get the 70-200 out to shoot these two, but I'm not sure. I'm conscious that, I know I said I've got all day, but really, there's a huge amount more to see down there. Oh, what the hell. You're only here once, aren't you? Well, I tried the tree, and it's one of those where you go, no, that looks better to my eyes than it does in an image. And we might have a little bit of a misty effect because it got a bit of water on the camera. I think I'm going to leave this one here. I found another waterfall. Look at that one. Let's see if we can tilt you up to have a look at him. That was where I was stood. That's awesome. That really is. Kind of looks a bit on the wonk there, but hey ho. I am stood on a rock in the middle of the stream. So there is no room, put the camera down to record what I'm doing. But that's beautiful. There, I don't know if you'll make it out, there is a, there. It's not a twig, it's too big to be a twig. Part of a tree there, just leading you in. Not going to go for the whole effect, just probably to about there, downwards. Probably on the 17 to 55. I might need the 70 to 200. I could try and get a little bit closer if I'm not carrying my bag. If I just take my camera and my tripod, I can probably get a little bit closer, because there are bits where the water isn't that deep. So I hope you enjoyed today's little jaunt. There's more to come. And get me, no 10 stop, no 6 stop. What is the world coming to? And a few hints and tips along the way. Should I rename this? Hints and tips for waterfall photography. About clickbait. Anyway, yes, I'm off ski. I'll leave you with these last couple of images, and I'll see you next weekend. Bye for now.